your seatbelt. It's going to be a bumpy walk.
Chrissie is hilarious.
Chrissie, have you ever heard of the comedian Basha K. Ali?
No, that sounds like something you yell out before you blow up a plane.
Basha K. Ali!
30 seconds remaining.
But you know what, good thing to say I dabbled in stand-up or something. I haven't been disrespectful to you at all.
I was very confused by the title, Everything Everywhere All at Once, because that's also what we call it when Ash takes off his shirt. I shouldn't be up here. I should be in school on the other side of the ocean. Hello. Welcome to another episode of the Chrissie Mayr podcast. You can listen to this podcast on iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, SoundCloud, Rumble, Rockfin, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, even all the places. Subscribe, like, and if you haven't listened to my pregnancy stand-up special, what are you waiting for? Go to my YouTube and give it a listen. Put it on while you go to the bathroom or take a shower. I don't care if you actually hear it. Just give it a view, for Christ's sakes. Give that a listen. Subscribe to my page as always. You know the thing. This podcast is starting a little bit late because I was chest feeding. No, imagine if I actually really said chest feeding, like seriously Okay. I'm so excited to have this guy on. Frank and I have been a fan of this guy for a minute. We're going to get into all of the things. We're going to get into Zach Hample for sure. We're going to get into all things Philly, being a Phillies fan. He is. I asked him how I should introduce him, and he was of no help, of course. But he's a bit of a firecracker. He's a true Philly guy. He's a baseball enthusiast. He is perhaps the only foil we have to Zach Hample. And I'm so excited he is joining me today on the show. Welcome, the Philly captain. John is his name, but he is the Philly captain.
When you asked me how I wanted to be introduced, I thought you meant my name. I didn't know you wanted me to write a bio.
I suck at this.
I believe the question was not proposed to me properly in my defense.
It's my fault.
Yeah, so I'm just a YouTuber. That's all. I'm a YouTuber guy. One of those social media jerk offs, I call them. And that's all. That's nice talking to you.
We're in the same family. How did you? Let's get a little. Meaning we're both YouTubers. We're both.
Oh, I have. You're a working comedian, and I actually, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a comedian. When I was a little kid, when I was in the 6th grade, my parents gave me Richard Belzer's book, How to Be a Stand-Up Comic.
Oh, and my God.
I carried that with me all the time. And I read everywhere I went with me. I had Richard Belzer's book. And I have I definitely, sometimes people call me a comedian because I make funny YouTube videos. And I think it's disrespectful to the art of comedians or the comedians themselves, because you have to work on a bit. You have to sit there on those goddamn open mics in rooms. And I've done it. I've done it a few times. But I have ADHD and I can't sit there all night to perform an open mic in front of 20 other comics who don't give a shit about anything else but their own set.
Yeah, it's brutal. It's horrific. I don't know why anyone does it. It's absolute hell. But you're hilarious.
Oh, thank
you. I definitely see an alternate universe where you are a professional stand-up comic, because you have the chops. You're quick on your feet. You're naturally gregarious and entertaining and charming. So,
sweet.
And it's never too late. You can always, you know what I mean? And now you don't even need the open mics. You could have a friggin' TikTok that goes viral, and then you're selling out a comedy club the next week. So
yeah, but I listen. I know how other comedians perceive TikTok comedians, and I know they're like, fuck them, and I don't ever want to. I have so much respect for comedians that I also, like, occasionally I do professional wrestling. and I'm a
Oh,
professional.
really? You
Yeah,
actually?
yeah.
I thought you were just saying that
Oh no,
because
no, no! I worked on WrestleMania week in Philadelphia in front of a 400 seat house with former WWE wrestlers,
oh my gosh, wow.
and that's kind of, I see wrestling and stand up comedy kind of the same because you got to pay your dues and work your way up. And the only thing is when if you have a bad set, you don't have a sore back for 4 or 5 days. That's the big
Yeah,
difference between yeah.
absolutely. Wow. Have you ever done any of that stuff where you're breaking anything on your head or breaking something on someone
No,
else?
no. I
Okay.
matter of fact, when I go to these shows, I wrestle. I was a friend of mine who's a wrestler. He's a jerk off too. His name's Philly Mike, and he'll cut himself. He'll go through panes of glass, and there's like 16 people, and he made $25. And I said, dude, you're gonna have that scar on the back for the rest of your life. And what do you? I mean, dude, what are you doing? Like have I hate the guy, but I have so much respect for him. I wish he would stop hurting himself. Although it is fun watching
And
him
he's
get
like,
hurt.
look, $25 is $25. Someone in the chat wants to know, what is your wrestling name?
I'm the Philly captain. I manage
Aha.
Onslaught from there's a wrestling league called GTS Wrestling. That's the bigger federation I'm part of. I also wrestle in Labor of Love, which is a new independent wrestling organization out of Philadelphia. I manage Onslaught, the hairiest, scariest man in wrestling. You know how wrestlers shave off their body hair? Onslaught doesn't do that, and all the other wrestlers get freaked out because he has so much body hair. We don't.
Onslaught could also be like a porn star name, to be honest.
Onslaught's a pretty horrible name. I told him that when I was like, but he picked that name before I was his manager. But I did tell him to stop shaving his chest hair and his shoulder hair because it creeps people out.
Yeah, if he was completely shaved, he would be slippery, or maybe he could get away easier. I don't know anything about wrestling.
He would look like, you ever see like a turtle without a shell? It just doesn't look right. You gotta have Onslaught and hair. I can't believe we're talking Onslaught. Yeah, Onslaught needs his hair. It's good. It's a good thing.
How did you get the nickname Philly Captain? How did you get into making content for YouTube?
So about 6 years ago, I got one of those Roku's that had the YouTube attached to the TV, and I was watching YouTube, and I saw this guy named Adam the Woo, and he does content every day, and he'll go to like Disney World or he'll travel Route 66 and show you the back roads. And me and my girl were watching TV, and she said to me, I said to her, "Yo, how does this guy make a living? Like, how does he afford?" And she goes, "Oh, he's a YouTuber." Like, I didn't even realize that was a job, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool. How do you do that?" She goes, "You just start making videos." So the next day, I started making little YouTube videos. They're horrible. I had a piece of shit phone, and it maybe was 720. It was really bad. And what I would do is I would make videos about the history of Philadelphia. And I spent a lot of time living in Philadelphia, and a lot of the stuff that you see, like statues and monuments and parks, you don't really know the history to them. So I would do research and then tell my people about the history of Philadelphia. And then I cover news stories, like if there's a flood or if there's like a cleanup on Kensington Ave, I talk about that. And I also go to Phillies games. But the way I got the name Philly Captain was I was kayaking on the Delaware River, and I put my kayak on this pier, and this old guy was fishing, and he said to me, "Is that your vessel?" And I said,
Yes.
and I said, "What, my kayak?" And he said, "Yes, your kayak. Is that your vessel?" And
Yeah.
I said, "Yeah, I guess it is." And then he said, "Well, I guess that makes you the captain then." And I said, "I guess so." And I started carrying the kayak up to the car. And he said, "All right, Captain, I'll see you later." And it just felt right.
It
So I
does
went,
feel right.
Captain just felt right. So I was doing a podcast at the time, and I was doing a podcast with another guy named John. So on that podcast, they called me Captain, and I told them that story, and they started calling me Captain. And then when I tried to start my YouTube channel, there was already a Captain channel. So I was like, what could I call it? And I was like, oh, I'm pretty Philly. So I went with Philly Captain.
That is so great. I imagine I was picturing the guy, he's a Simpsons character, but he kind of looks like the Gordon's fisherman, like white hair, one squinty eye, a pipe. He's like, "Yar, is that your mighty vessel?"
It was probably the exact opposite. It was like an old 80-year-old black guy sitting in a chair with like a little bottle of Heineken, like a little pony bottle of Heineken, fishing off a pier that people use to tie off their jet skis. You're not really supposed to fish there. So I think the guy just had a good buzz on him. And I wish I could meet the guy, because I mean, I must have told that story a few dozen times now in my life. And it's such a pivotal story. And I don't even know that guy's name, but he really, with that little conversation, he changed my life.
Your life.
Yeah, man.
I don't know what it is. I had a friend group, God, maybe like 20 years ago. We would go tubing, and there was always a captain. We always had captain's hats. It was always like, yeah, we all just did that voice. We had like little flotation devices full of beers. And I don't know why, whenever there's like tubing or kayaking going on, we turn into seafaring types. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like we get our sea legs, get a couple beers in.
Yeah, people like to pretend to be their captains when they have a few beers in them and you're on water. It's just a natural response to say, "Arr!" Yeah, it's just what they do.
The sea was angry that day, and it's just like you're floating downstream.
That was embarrassing. When I first started my YouTube channel, I was leaning heavy on the captain gimmick. So I would start my videos with, "Arr, how are you, mate?" To this day, it makes my asshole tighten up with embarrassment. It's pretty douche chilly, as they say. It's definitely a douche chilly feeling.
I don't know. I hope you bring it back. I think it's charming.
Now I say, "Here we are." That's kind of like my introduction to everything.
When did ye become a Phillies fan?
When I fell out of my mother's vagina. I've always been a Philadelphia sports fan. When I was a kid growing up, my dad was a big avid sports watcher. So whenever he was watching, I was watching, because he controlled the TV. And usually we were watching the Phillies, the Flyers, the Sixers, and the Eagles. But the Eagles in the 80s, they weren't that great. But I remember my dad like vividly yelling at Dr. J on the TV. And but my first baseball memory, I was like 4 or 5 years old. No. I was like 4 or 5 years old. And I went to Veterans Stadium, which is where the Phillies used to play. And I remember I was a little kid, and I walked through that tunnel of Veterans Stadium. And there was like a bright light you see before you get to a stadium. And you get in that tunnel, and you see that bright light, and you take a step. And it's like you go to heaven, and you see that beautiful baseball field, the green artificial turf of Veterans Stadium. The first memory I have is Pete Rose having a catch on the field. And this thought is ingrained in my brain.
Aww.
And I just love baseball. I think I love the summer. I think that's great. The season takes forever. I love that. Not every, if you lose a game 13-0, your season's not over. You can come back the next. I just love baseball. And Philly sports, living in Philadelphia, it's part of who you are, I think.
And doesn't baseball spring training start in like February?
The pitchers and catchers report like last 2 weeks of February. Yeah, the pitchers go down.
Kind of like once there's spring training beginning for the pitchers, and it's kind of like, oh, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. It's like, all right, winter is coming to a close. Like the beginning of the baseball season, it's like, all right, it's gonna start getting nice. Things are happening. We made it through.
I used to feel that way, but that's bullshit. Because I live in Philadelphia, and it still doesn't get nice till about Memorial Day. Like you get dick teased with the nice weather, with like you get like an 80-degree day or a 90-degree day, but then 2 days later you're back in the 40s.
It's true. I'm in New York. It's very smarchy. It's been very smarchy weather.
Right? Yeah, smarchy. Exactly. And I always have to remind myself when spring training starts to not get happy, because it's not spring. Just because spring training's in the title doesn't make it spring in Philadelphia.
Don't get excited. There's something really nice. I love the Philly Stadium. I've been to Fenway. I've been to Wrigley. I've never been to the original Yankee Stadium, but I've been to the new one. I think I have been to Shea Stadium. My brother was like a tepid Mets fan growing up. He's 5 years older than me, but like my husband now, Frank, is huge Yankees fan, and I'm only like a slight. I can't say I'm a huge, but I'm like I am sort of by. You know what I mean?
If you
Like
were
it's rubbed
watching
off
the
on me.
if you were watching the World Series and it's Game 7 and the Yankees are playing the Mets and there's 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth, is your heart beating fast? Like, does your heart rate go up a little bit because you're excited to see what's going to happen, or do you
Yes.
just go, okay? So
Oh,
you're a
definitely.
fan
But
then?
I can't pretend that I'm like, I was a little kid begging to go to the stadium. Like when I was in 2008, I had this when I first started like being caring a little bit about baseball. I had an ex-boyfriend who was a Red Sox fan, so I was like, I guess I'm a Red Sox fan.
Mm.
And I thought part of being a baseball fan was like you just pick a player that no one really likes and then you're like a fan of that specific guy. So I chose Bill Hall. I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm a huge Bill Hall fan." But they didn't have any jerseys for him. He was
No.
I don't think he was that good, and who knows where he is now, but I've evolved. I would say I'm a genuine Yankees fan and a general overall baseball fan at this point. And I've noticed there's just a real different feeling between the stadiums and between the fan bases. There's something really special about the Philly Stadium. It seems very family oriented. I think we were there with our stepson, God, maybe just a few months ago, and they had this little machine that like it looked like it was like a hot dog
A hot dog
shooting
launcher.
machine, but it was like a shooting balls. It was very family friendly. There were just a lot of places you could go, like a lot of little games, a lot of little like mascots and stores and stuff. Whereas you have Yankee Stadium, I think Frank was telling me there's about 30% of the stadium of Yankee Stadium that you can't even go because it's all just like VIP access and whatever the Audi lounge or whatever, like the Mercedes section, or there's the Legends suites where he's gone a couple times, but you spend I don't know what it is. If it's like $1,000, you get an insane buffet. You eat everything, you drink everything. It's like luxe VIP treatment. But I'm saying that Philly doesn't have any of that at all, but it's just a completely different vibe. And I don't know if alcohol is to blame. There's just something very different about a Phillies fan than say like a Yankees fan, or even like I guess I could compare a Phillies fan more to a Red Sox fan, but there's just something in like the person. And I think you embody that so perfectly.
I think I went to Yankee Stadium last year, and they have the suites that are behind home plate that when you walk behind them, you can't see the field, but there's like a little wall. I'm 6 foot tall, and I think the wall's 6'6" high. So they purposely make it almost so you could see the field. And I was like, why wouldn't they want people to watch the game? And that's the one thing I love about the Philly Stadium is it's 360 views. No matter where you are, you can walk the stadium and watch the game. Uh, I really feel like Yankees. That's a business. They don't give up. They if they don't care about the fans, they want to win championships, and I just feel like it's all business.
Yeah, I
Where
remember I was in line waiting for like a frozen lemonade or something at Philly Stadium, and I could still fully watch what was going
Mhm.
on in the game. And then like if you're in line getting food or something or in a store at Yankee Stadium, you don't even see the field. Like you're just blocked with
Yeah,
so
if
many
you're
things.
lucky, they have a TV screen at the concession stands. Otherwise, you just got to listen to the crowd, and you could tell if something happens by that. But yeah, I went to Yankee Stadium, and I have they're the best franchise in baseball. Yada yada yada. All these championships, blah blah blah. Back when in the 1920s and the 50s, they haven't won that many recently. Um, but it just doesn't. It's not a fun place to watch a game. I have more fun at Shitty Field where the Mets play. It's it's it really is. It's a funner ballpark. They have a nice museum where all the fans get access to it, And they don't have a Yankee Stadium. They have that thing in the outfield where you can see all the plaques, but it's only open for like 35 seconds before the game. You got to get there like 2 hours before the game even starts to get in there. And it's just not a fun place to watch a game. Maybe it's not supposed to be fun. I don't know, but I like to have fun. That's why I'm really happy I'm a Phillies fan, because it's the best ballpark to watch a game, I feel.
You know what the Yankees don't have? They don't have a player who refuses to wash their hair. Like, like Brandon Marsh.
I believe that hair is groomed and washed, and I it's always wet. It's always wet. So
why is it always wet?
I don't know. He says it feels good when it feels right when it's wet, and it's not wet, it doesn't feel good. Wrestlers do the same thing too.
It's so gross. It looks so gnarly.
Oh man, the chicks dig him. They think he
Ew.
Yeah, but they like the bearded Forrest Gump look, I guess. I don't know.
He looks like he smells like Forrest Gump. Like
he smells like
Take the uniform off. He looks homeless.
It's just because he has a beard. I mean, he actually is in probably really good shape, and you don't know what kind of clothes he would be wearing. I don't think long straggly beards make him he doesn't have, I don't think he has a super duper contract, but he's doing all right. He's not homeless. It's probably luck too, because why the hell would you have a beard that big in August in Philadelphia?
But if his hair only feels right when it's wet, why wouldn't he just cut it and have short hair?
Because that's not his look. I don't know. I'm not Brandon Marsh. You get him on next week's episode. You can ask him about his wet hair and his smelly beard. I would recommend you not saying it looks smelly to his face, but
no,
he's a super nice guy too. And I go to a lot of games at other stadiums, and he takes pictures with people, and none of them ever look repulsed because of his body odor. I can report that.
I know. I'm just joking around. I think I love that his hair is like always wet. It's just part of, I think, what makes the Phillies kind of like you don't have anybody like that on the Yankees. You're
not allowed to. You're not allowed to. You grow a beard, they kick you off the team. I don't know what happens if you grow. I don't know how they can even do that. They say, it's part of our uniform. You can't have facial hair, and you're like, okay. I mean, I guess, but yeah, that's part of that's how unfun they are. That you can't have a beard.
There's even a few players this year who have like quite a fair bit of tattoos. Like some of them are going up their neck, and they have like almost like a partial or a full sleeve going on. I'm like, I'm seeing more tattoos than I have in years past.
I went to a doctor's office the other day, and the fucking receptionist at the doctor's office had a face tattoo.
Oh, God. Was it a girl or a guy?
It was a girl. It was a face tattoo, like right here. And then there was a tattoo on the neck. And
whew, that's hardcore.
You go do what you want to do. But when I see that, I go, what doctor goes, you know what? I want that person to be the representative of my doctor's office. And yeah, you know what? That was my last doctor visit to that doctor, as a matter of fact.
I think I'm done. I think I'm done seeing doctors. Well, I don't know if she was Black or Spanish, then she could say, "What, are you not hiring me because of my race?" So maybe that was her way in.
I don't know what she was. Well, I don't know. No, she definitely wasn't Black, but she could have been like. It doesn't matter. But
something.
No. She might have been white. I don't know. Everybody has face tattoos. All these kids, they all want to be the little Zan. They got the face tattoos. And I tell my kids, if you get a goddamn tattoo anywhere where I could see it, I'm going to murder you.
Yeah, that's fair. My mom always said, like, if you pierce your nose, I'm going to stop paying for college. I pierced my ear cartilage with my gay best friend at the time, and I tried so hard to hide it. I would always try to have my hair covering it until she came to a swim meet and she saw it, and I was like, fuck.
Yeah, I had this tattoo on my arm, and I got it when I was like 18. And
what is that of?
There's a punk band called the Mighty Mighty Bosstones.
Oh yeah.
It's their
like a bulldog.
It's their logo. And
that's not so bad.
No, it's not. It's just the placement. Like, it was the only tattoo I had here. I didn't have this at the time. So it was like I got it in March. So then May comes around. Look, we were just saying, May comes around. It's a little it's a little warm out, but for some reason I still keep wearing that long sleeve jacket. And my mom's like, I don't understand why you're wearing a jacket. And I said, I just like being warm. And then one day she eventually, you get caught like you did at the pool. And there's nothing they could do about it except be disappointed. And that's what I did. I disappointed my mother.
Get used to it, parents.
Oh, yeah.
My favorite thing about you is that you have confronted, I think the how do you describe this man? He is, I love him, but I hate him. Also, he famously rejected a famously turned down a Chrissie Mayr podcast interview invite. So that's it. We're going to take no prisoners. You have confronted Zach Hample. You have called him out on his wild ways. For people who don't know who Zach Hample, and you've done a couple videos on him. For folks who don't know who Zach Hample is, how would you describe him?
Zach Hample is a baseball superfan who goes around not just the country. He goes over to Japan and Asia, and I think he just went to Asia to catch foul balls, home run balls, practice balls. His whole life is balls. And he makes YouTube videos going around the world, traveling the country, catching balls, and making YouTube videos about it. And some people would say he could be aggressive sometimes when he catches the balls. Some people, a lot of people, because I like I said, you said I made a video where I yelled at Zach because I have a friend named Butch from Manayunk who he's 70 years old. And about a year or two ago, he got a ball at Citizens Bank Park, but Zach Hample was going at the ball too at the same time.
Oh,
and my buddy Butch, he's a little bit crazy. He was like, yo, I had to box him out and put my ass out and box out Zach Hample. And I was kind of taken back by that because I'm like, my man Butch is collecting Social Security.
No.
I'm like, why is Zach Hample so aggressive about getting balls? And the very next day after I hear this story, I see Zach Hample. And whenever I see a famous person, and I'm going to Zach Hample has a movie. Zach Hample has done talk shows. Like, I think he's done Conan O'Brien. I think he's even done the Jimmy Fallon Tonight Show. So he's done
been on Leno.
He's been on Leno. He did the Leno Tonight Show.
Yeah.
Would I rather do Leno or Fallon? I guess Leno.
I think Leno. Yeah.
Yeah, I would rather do Leno. Although, I know some of the members of the Roots. I used to work at this parking lot where they would park their bus every day. And I would see them take because they still live here because it's so expensive in New York. So they would take a bus every day and they would meet at my parking lot that I was running. And it would be neat to see the Roots guys and say, hey, look, remember the guy from the parking lot? I'm on Jimmy Fallon. But I think Jimmy Fallon laughs too hard at his guest. And it drives me insane. Like, I can't watch his videos because he laughs too hard. So I think I would rather be on Leno. But I don't like what he did to David Letterman. So I have too much turmoil. I have too much turmoil. And none of the shit matters. Anyway, Zach Hample's success. Zach Hample is successful. But I don't know how many balls he needs to get. He does this thing where he'll go to batting practices and he'll catch ball after ball after ball. And I believe he keeps one ball every game, but the rest of them he gives away to little kids. And I've seen it. Like, he will also be the first person to tell you that. He will be the first person to tell you.
He's a very good guy. He wants everyone to know.
He does say that. Yeah. So it's comical. It's kind of comical to see what he does. So when I saw him, I said, Zach Hample. When I see the celebrities I don't like, I did this to Ben Simmons, Angel Hernandez, who's a bad umpire. Alex Rodriguez. I'm a big fan of Jim Norton. And I think the
You are? Oh,
I'm,
I love Jim. He's
I'm a
great.
huge fan of Jim Norton, and I've gone viral using his joke multiple times. When I see somebody famous and I don't like them, I go, Alex Rodriguez, you stink, and I don't like you. And I've done it to Zach Hample, and it's just the ultimate insult because it's not offensive, and it's just like really, it's like the most polite heckle ever. But it
They'll
also
definitely remember it, though.
right, like people call me the polite heckler. But yeah, I love Jimmy, and I hope one day to give him a high five because I've been using his material for a few years now. I told Sam Roberts, I said, let him know I'm not trying to steal his content. It's like a tip of the cap. It's like when people back in the day would see the news stations and they would say Howard Stern's penis, baba booey. It's kind of like that.
Oh, wow. Yeah, Jim's a great guy. It's so funny. I was so upset when he stopped doing his Chip Chipperson show. He's just
I love that
everything he
show.
does. I think
I
it's so
saw that
funny.
live in concert in Philadelphia with him, Anthony, Sam.
Oh,
And,
wow,
and,
great.
and I'm a big radiophile. And when I got the invite to do this podcast, and I saw that you were like under the Compound Media umbrella, my little heart pitter pattered because like it's like one step closer to Anthony Cumia, who's
Oh,
like
wow.
one of the greatest, one of the
He's
greatest
great.
radio personalities in the history of the art form of radio. There's not many people who are as entertaining and as funny as Anthony. So once I saw you were tagged with him, I was like, oh, I got to talk to this lady. It's so cool.
Oh, that's
And,
so great.
and
Yeah,
then I
he's
Googled you and I looked at your WikiFeet score. And
What is my Wiki Feet score? Where's it at these days? Let's
7.
see. Wiki 7. I was robbed.
No, I mean, 7 out of 10 is pretty good, right?
I think I would like a 10.
Well, nothing's perfect. Only
That's true.
only Jesus is perfect. But no,
That's true.
you can't get you can't. I mean,
Yeah.
anything above a 5 is good in my book. So
Oh,
you must have
actually,
some.
1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5. Looks like almost 4.5 out of 5 stars. That's decent.
Oh, what did I go to? You had a 7. I must
7. That's my shoe size.
Oh, you're okay. Well, so 4 out of. All right, that's even better.
That's
that.
That's high praise. Wow. They'll just take any photos from the internet and slap these on here. And then there's people sitting waiting for a foot to come out on a live stream, and they'll take a screenshot of it. These people are relentless. But anyway,
from that camera angle that you're using right now, I would assume that there's not much foot action going on this podcast.
sometimes I have gone out of my way to flash a foot. I don't know. I got to throw the kids something. But yeah, Zach Hample, he's caught more than 12,000 balls.
Mm-hmm.
He's attended games at 63 different MLB stadiums. He loves to catch the first of something. He caught Mike Trout's first career home run, Alex Rodriguez's 3,000th hit. He also, I'm like interested in him because I'm like, is he autistic? What's going on? He's a little bit entitled. He comes from old money, like old Manhattan, New York City money. He lives on the Upper West Side. His family owns. He has a family owns a bookstore on like East 59th Street near Central Park. So that's that's a money location. He's like a rich kid. So he doesn't, you can tell you're like, this is a guy who I don't think has to really work for a living or has never really work super hard for a living.
It's I mean, you can't hate a guy for coming from money, and I mean,
it's not his fault, of course.
There are, and there's a plot twist in my Zach Hample feud. Is last week, I yelled at him about a year ago or 2 years ago, and then last week he was at the stadium. He was at the Phillies stadium, and I am friends with this kid, Luke, who works for the Phillies. And he knows I'm a YouTuber, and he always asks me if I could get him to meet Zach Hample. Luke doesn't really understand that me and him are feuding or whatever. So anyway, I see Zach Hample at the place where my buddy Luke works, and I said, Zach, you got to come meet my buddy Luke. And he kind of just stopped, and he saw it was me, and it was the video it's that video right there. And we talked for about 5 minutes, and he was like, I don't understand why you're so mean to me. and, and I said, I don't think I'm being mean to you. I'm sort of, it's satirical. It's comedy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just busting your stones. Like, if you
You're
don't
just pulling his
understand,
pigtails. Yeah.
right? Yeah. If you don't understand why it's funny to make fun of you, I don't think I can explain why it's funny to make fun of you. While I was talking to him, I'm not a doctor, but he does seem very laser focused on catching balls, talking about his YouTube channel, and like he's very focused on catching baseballs. I don't know if he's autistic, but I just found out that I'm a little bit. I'm on the spectrum,
Did
and
you take a test or something, or did someone just say?
well, I
you're
had
autistic?
I was talking to a therapist. I was diagnosed bipolar, and I was talking to a therapist, another therapist who isn't the therapist I've been talking to for a long time. And it turns out I might not be bipolar because I never really had a
Ooh.
crazy manic episode. It's crazy. I have such a low self-esteem that sometimes I have confidence and I believe in myself. And I felt like that was being mania, but it wasn't.
I felt good about myself for once, and
I have a very
having an episode.
I have a very low opinion of myself. So once in a while, when I start feeling positive about myself, I feel like I'm manic. But then on the news, I'll see Kanye West when he's manic, and I'm like, "There's no fucking way I'm the same guy."
No,
So
you're fine.
I have ADHD. I definitely laser focus on my YouTube channel. That's why I make content every day. Like I have to. Otherwise, I feel like Rain Man when he doesn't see Judge Wapner or something feels wrong. So I don't know if he's autistic, but if he is, I kind of get it. You know, I kind
Not
of
that there's anything wrong with that. Yeah, some of my best friends have. We all have something.
I watched the Phillies games with a bunch of people called the Fandemic Crew, and we just realized like recently we're all fucking autistic. We all love baseball and stats and but yeah. So I really but now knowing that he's autistic or thinking that he may be autistic, I kind of changed my opinion a little bit. Like, oh, dude just don't know no better, you know,
Right.
and that's what he wants to do. And if that's what he wants to do with his life, go around catching balls, all right, I get it. But
That's kind of you to show him a little grace. I'm going to play a little bit of this clip of you trying to get Zach to meet your friend.
But my parents are here.
Oh, that's
Mom,
it's way
Dad,
more in the
how
video.
excited to meet
That's
Luke?
okay.
Yeah. Okay, let's go meet Luke. Who's pitching tonight for us? Nola. Let's go. Let's go. All right.
Keep going. Keep going. Keep
So
going.
this is Luke, who works in one of the stores. One of the
That's the guy who
stores.
wanted to meet Zach Hample. It's like
Okay.
in the second half of the video.
Okay. Okay.
So that's my buddy Luke. I could keep going. I'll tell you one. Keep going.
I love this because you guys sit in like I always see your videos. You're sitting in like the uppermost corner.
You want to hear the crazy thing is my seats are behind home plate. I have season tickets. I go to every game, and my seats are behind home plate, first row or second row behind home plate, and they're amazing seats. I just go in that section because that's where all my friends are. Those are my seats. Those are my seats right there. That's where I usually sit, or I could sit, but I'd rather sit in the seats with my friends.
So this is where your friends are, kind of by up in what would you call this area? The 300s.
It's 301. It's always fun in section 301. And people buy tickets and sit with us. Anybody could come and watch a game.
That's fun. This looks like our crew at Sullivan's, like after a Compound Media show. It's like the same vibes.
I think everybody has a group of friends that you get together and you have a good time and you can just bust balls. A lot of ball busting, a lot of we make fun of each other for our hobbies or what we're wearing. It's a lot of ball busting. It's a good time. We're like a second family for each other.
And then your actual season tickets it's this view right here.
Yeah, that's that view. Yeah. So I could be watching the game from there, but I'm hanging out with my friends.
I love it. That's what you
That's
do.
it.
Okay.
It was looking bad.
Yeah.
Now it's looking good. You didn't give up when they were losing. Did you?
No, of course not.
Okay.
Oh, what a sweet
No,
kid.
That's Zach Hample. You want to meet him, right?
Where is he?
Right there. Yeah, you want to meet him?
You're not going to be rude to him,
I
are you?
won't be.
You're not gonna be rude to him, are you?
Meet any YouTuber in baseball. Who would you want to meet?
Zach Hample.
Guess what?
He's right here.
That's what I did.
Look who I ran into. What? Yep.
Zach, what are you doing here?
I'm trying not to piss you off, Philly
Yeah,
Captain.
don't piss me off. Listen, Luke, be careful. Sometimes if there's a ball up here, he might don't knock over my loot.
Hey, I'm very careful.
All right, you be very careful. All right, Zach, it's nice to meet you. I'm glad. Tell you what.
Let's go.
Whoa! All right, Zach, I'll see you on the internet, buddy.
See you on the internet.
Come on, Luke.
You work for the Phillies tonight, right?
You know it.
Not the.
Yeah, okay. All right,
I follow you on Instagram.
let's go.
Oh, he's afraid of you.
Yeah. He is. I felt bad too. I feel bad about it. I don't want anyone. I even in the beginning of that video. Know what the crazy thing about Zach Hample is? Whenever he goes to a game at the Philly Stadium, I get so many messages on Instagram and Twitter. People slide in my DMs and they're like, "Yo, he's here. Come get him." like I'm a rabid dog. Like I'm going to attack him. And but he was. He should be scared. Not he should be like he never saw a sane side of me. So I would be scared of a guy who just yells at me every time he sees me too. So he handled it pretty well.
It's not just like you're picking on him for no reason. This guy, he my God, there's so much proof online of different videos like from you and other folks. He will run somebody down for a ball. He is so focused on catching these balls, catch it. But he does give it to a kid. It's like a kid would rather catch his own ball. A kid would rather have his dad catch the ball than have Zach Hample mow them down, only to then hand them the ball. It's a better memory. It's a better experience if you catch it yourselves. And it's like he's got thousands of balls. Like.
Mm-hmm.
He needs let somebody else catch a damn ball every now and again.
I almost 100% agree with you. I will tell you, for a little kid to get a ball from Zach Hample, not all of them, but I would say, let's say 25% of the kids he hands, they rather get a ball handed to them by Zach Hample.
Really? Okay.
Yes, yeah. But 75% of the people think this jerk off Rob. I would say it's so hard now because I'm trying to be friendly to the guy because he was nice to my buddy. I would say he doesn't steal joy every time he catches the ball, but most of the time when he does catch ball and hand it to somebody, it's not as joyful as catching the ball yourself. But there are some kids that, holy shit, I'd rather have a Bryce Harper ball caught by Zack Hample, hand it to you. I'm sure there's kids that are thrilled to have that.
Okay, I just didn't know. I didn't know the youth was aware of him.
Oh my God, kids love him. Kids love him. Kids love baseball vloggers.
Because he is a kid. He's a grown man acting as a kid, I think.
Yeah, he is. I don't know what his dating life is like. I don't know if I don't know if he's laser focused on getting laid ever, but he's
no,
that, yeah.
Probably
Well, maybe. I think he had a girlfriend. I think.
Laid. You can tell. He's very. He's a person you can tell is not getting laid. I'll put it that way. I just think that's. You're being very evasive. Don't feel it. He'll never see this. He doesn't like.
You don't. If I take this clip of me talking about Zach Hample and I put it on my YouTube channel, which. Right, it's because believe it or not, if you're not familiar, this is a really, really big feud in the whole little baseball community. There's Team Zach Hample and Team Philly Captain, and most of the people who are on Team Philly Captain are over the age of 15. That's adults usually agree with me.
I know what team I'm on.
Let's go.
That's for damn sure. I love this clip. This was at the Colorado Rockies Stadium. He's had various run-ins with security or different stadium employees. Mm-hmm. Sometimes he'll catch like an important ball and he'll be like, "Oh, they're watching me because they they need to trade to take the ball, and then they'll give him whatever, some sort of equivalent bat or other balls or other signed merchandise. And he's constantly like, videotaping himself, which is fine. But this was a moment where he was getting reprimanded by an employee at the Rocky Stadium, and he was not too happy about really being told what to do in general.
All right, it's a home run ball. I'm gonna go for a home run ball. Come on, don't be that strict. That's ridiculous.
This guy is trying to tell him, like, look, stay in this section, and Zach is like, I listen to no one. I'm Zach Hample. I go where I want.
Area here. You stay in that area.
Right.
Telling me I can't move 10 feet for a home run is ridiculous. Stop yes rules that you make up on the spot. It's a home run ball. People can try to catch a home run.
But his whole reasoning was like, well, that's not where his seat is. I guess he was just trying to be fair. And maybe
That was a handicap section. My God.
Okay. Say no more. That is, yeah.
So he was running into, I would say it looked like a half-emptied handicap section, but I believe that's where the people in wheelchairs sit in that area. Look, if you don't have a ticket for that section and somebody tells you to leave, you get up and leave because you're in the wrong. That's how I do it. I have friends that will fight with ushers, and I'm like, look, this guy's making $15 an hour. This is his retirement job. He's just doing his shit. Just leave him the fuck alone. But again, he's laser focused. He's got that laser focus on those balls.
He would knock over someone in a wheelchair for a ball. I would not put it past him.
I get sent pictures. No, I never seen anybody. I never saw a wheelchair person knocked over. But whenever he does a fuck up in his videos, or if there's something where he takes a ball from a kid, people definitely send me those clips. So he's caught 12,000 balls. I'm sure he's knocked over a few people, right? It has to be, let's say he's knocked over 10. Boy, that's a lot of people you knocked the fuck over. I haven't knocked over 10 people in my lifetime.
Yeah, I just think he's doing too much. And it's one thing if you're going for a ball and like nobody else is around. Like it's like how many, you have 12,000. You need to go for everyone with, and he also has on his channel like him at the what they call the hitting tank where you go to hit balls, the fucking it's not called a hitting tank.
Batting cage?
The batting cage, yeah. And he's like, look at me, I still got it. I played Division III in college.
Oh, did he?
I mean, it's not Division I, but you know.
Listen, the fact that I didn't even go to college. How about that? Good for him. The fact that he, I mean, probably walked. Dad probably paid for him to get on the team with the bookstore, right? Here you go. Let's get Zach on the team. He's not. There's worse things going on in the world than Zach Hample knocking over children at baseball games. Maybe. I don't know. Now that I say
You're
that,
being very nice about this.
I will tell you. I'll let you know. I'll let you know why I'm being nice. Me and Zach Hample started emailing each other.
Oh.
And we are talking possibly about getting together and making a video together.
Yes.
And I also have other friends who are much more popular in YouTube than I am. I'm inviting them to come along too, to let Zach be comfortable. So I think I have an idea for the video, and it's so fucking funny where the entire day he just cuts in front of me. Like I try to go to the bathroom, he cuts in front of me. I go to the seats, he cuts in front of me. And I think it's a funny bit. And I think it would actually, and then maybe I could talk to him and say, listen, this is what's going on. Maybe you catch one ball and that's it. And then the rest of the time you watch a game. I don't know. But yeah, that's the reason why I'm being such a pussy. Okay. Because I think in the long run, that video, it would be so entertaining. It would be so fucking funny. And I really want to sit there for a few hours. It's just like, see the guy. Yeah. To see, like, I mean, I hung out with him for a few minutes talking to him with my buddy Luke. And I kind of got it. Like he like, my buddy Luke said, yeah, I saw some of your movie. It was really good. And he was like, why didn't you see all of the movie? And I was like, oh, come on, dude. Come on, man. Just say thank you. Thanks for watching some of it, man.
He's got a touch of something. Filthy thinks you should bridge the divide with some cheesesteaks. Aesthetic thinks he thinks you should not become friendly, that you should focus and make more drama instead.
Oh, I got a kid coming. What are you doing?
Oh, that's okay.
Oh, no. Don't do that. Don't do that. Yeah. I'm sorry. My grandson was about to come in the house.
You have a grandson? You're too youthful for a grandson.
Nah, I'm 47, and my grandson's turning 2 this month.
Oh.
And he was gonna come in. He hates coming in here. So I don't know why he comes in and he'll see me and he'll go bye and just go to the door and leave. So
and he's 2?
He's 2, yeah, super
and he can
cute.
say bye. I don't know anything about kids.
Yeah, bye is pretty. Most 2-year-olds could do the bye. I'm not bragging, but yeah, so can Kevin. He's kicking ass with the byes.
I love that. So here is a video of Zach at his family's bookstore. What is this? What is the bookstore called? It's something with an A. It's on 59th Street.
Bookstore, which you can see behind me across the street. It's actually the oldest independent bookstore in New York City, and I just thought it'd be fun to give you a quick tour of the place.
And so he's looking at I love this clip.
Up here on the 4th floor, 3rd and 4th floors are mostly storage and office space. $1,000. Maybe just do a little light reading on the subway home. Oh man, I don't know. This is tricky.
He's taking out this huge book. He's like, I would love to have this on the subway and just lay it across 2 or 3 people. Like,
this is tricky. Oh, Hogarth, a English painter who died in 1764. Yeah, this thing weighs about 30 pounds.
It's a struggle.
I do think it would be pretty.
He's struggling to hold it. A 30-pound book.
Awesome though to pull this out on the subway, and it would overlap the people, like two people on either side of me. But yeah, I don't know if this is the biggest book in the store, but it's definitely the biggest that I can ever remember seeing.
God, but there's a clip on here where it's called the Argosy bookstore. He's like, oh, if you really want to get away from it all, come up here. Just kidding. This is only for employees. I think this is it.
You will see what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Is this adorable or what? You want to get away from everybody and just sit here and relax? Well, you can't, because this is employees only. But sometimes I actually come here and I'll just eat a sandwich or read a book and chill out for a bit.
I do what I want.
Yeah, I think he needs a friend like me. Where
yes, any friend.
You got to stop rubbing it in people's faces. Be grateful, not a dickhead. And I think he would be okay. But then again, he probably doesn't. If somebody says that to him, he probably wouldn't be friends with them. So
he's covered in generational wealth. He needs somebody to just shake him out a little bit. He needs to be with the people.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, he also.
I love shitting on rich people. Don't.
He has a camera person. And I don't. When I do my videos, I do all my camera. It's not the greatest camera work, but I do all the camera work myself. And I often want, like, it makes me go like, holy shit, this guy is doing so well that he has somebody. But I guess when he's catching the ball, it must be hard to film. But yeah, I always, when I see YouTubers with camera people, I don't know how I feel like it's taking a part of me out of the art of making a video. Did I just say YouTube videos is an art form? Sort of, kind of.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's like having a crew. It's different than, like, sometimes it's fun to see somebody's fucking double chin. You're like, yeah, you shot this yourself. You're doing this on the fly. And also, me and him were at that baseball game the other day where he met Luke. That was 4 days ago. He still hasn't put up that video from that game because it takes him a long time to edit the videos and stuff. And meanwhile, my video has been up for 3 days. I'm not bragging that I edit and post videos daily, nonstop. But yeah, he also is much more successful than me. So that's probably why he doesn't have to work as hard. Family money. It makes things a lot easier.
It does. Yeah, money makes things easier. They say, oh, money doesn't cure everything. Like, bullshit. Give me some of that and let me find out.
It cures a lot of things. Let's see. What kind of
Hundreds, maybe even more than 1,000 signed books up here.
Right.
A lot of it is cataloged. A lot of it you just have to kind of poke around on the walls and see what jumps out at you. So
Look at this.
pretty special.
Signed Macaulay Culkin photo. Wow.
I'm kind of entertained by how far down the rabbit hole of Zack Hample you've gone. Like, you know about the bookstore. You know more about him than I know. Like, I can't watch.
If you ever come to New York, we're gonna go to the bookstore.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Please
I'm on a
come to New
train
York.
right now.
Do my Compound Media show. We'll go to the bookstore. We'll get a cheesesteak. I mean,
in New York?
In New York are
yeah. Why don't we get? Don't you guys have the slices of pizza? That's what you guys are known for.
I'll get you some pizza.
Yeah. Fuck that. Just take me to Compound Media. Holy shit. That's just one step closer. One step closer to Anthony Cumia. Oh my god.
Okay, like if I really was skilled, I could try to coordinate for a Monday that he's there. And for sure I could try to make that happen. It's possible. Can't promise anything, but
that's okay. You know, just it's kind of cool. Like you ever? Well, I'm sure you go into a TV studio of a TV show that you're watching. It's kind of neat to see the actual place that you've been looking at for years. I just find that shit interesting. To
see how the sausage is made.
I don't necessarily I do the wrestling stuff, and I kind of hate how much inside information I have. I wish I could go back because it ruined wrestling for me. Like seeing how the sausages.
Tricks.
I know like way too many, and there's so many tricks. I was a pretty knowledgeable wrestling fan before I got into the industry. And there's so many tricks that you don't even realize that as a fan. And but no, it's just cool to be to go to places and see stuff like that. That's neat.
No, that's cool. I hope this collab between you and Zach Hample works out. We will definitely do a collab in New York. We'll go to the bookstore. We'll have a compound day. But you're definitely you're a great follow because you're just such a great. And also, I'm trying to figure out where exactly is your accent from?
Okay, I was born in a neighborhood called Kensington.
Okay,
and Kensington. I lived in Kensington, and then I moved to a neighborhood called Port Richmond. And they're called the River Wards of Philadelphia. And I talk like every single person who from Port Richmond who is 47 years old. All of my friends, we all talk like jerk offs like this. Like we have this goofy accent, and it's pretty bad. It's pretty atrocious, my accent. And I didn't notice until I started YouTubing. But when I yell, I sound a lot like Gilbert Gottfried, and people tell me that because I make videos where I heckle the baseball players, and they're like, "Holy shit, you sound like Gilbert Gottfried," and I'm like, I feel horrible for my fiance because could you imagine fucking Gilbert Gottfried? That must be like
that feels really good.
Oh, I love what you're doing. Not that I scream while I'm having sex, but it must be horrible. Fucking Gilbert Gottfried.
It's good. Now we can all fantasize. We all know what you sound like in bed. That's good. But you're actually from Kensington. Kensington is one of the most videotaped places on YouTube. I feel like there's so many videos out. Like YouTubers love to go to Kensington and kind of like be like, oh, look how. I mean, it's crazy. There's people there on fucking horse tranquilizer. They're there. Their body parts are decrepit. Is that even a word?
I got it.
Their arms and legs are falling off, and they're just in the throes of addiction. They'll do anything. It's very sad.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen some videos lately about how I think there is a nearby college, and like there's sort of plans to maybe gentrify that area, and then so there'll be like a new Kensington, or the people on drugs just have to find a new area.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess that's become very popular because it's become. People know you can get cheap drugs there.
It's not that the drugs are cheap. The drugs are good, and the stuff they have in Kensington Ave is so good.
It's worth throwing your life away.
People go around the country, not just Philadelphia, not just Pennsylvania. We got people from around the country, not Baltimore, not around the country, middle of America. They come here to get the drugs. And I go down to Kensington, I don't know, like once every 2 months, once every month I'll make a video. I can't go down there all the time. It's too depressing. But the reason why I make videos in Kensington is to hold our politicians accountable. And there's other people who go down there and they'll drive their car and they'll go in super slow motion and they'll film the drug addicts nodding out and they'll get millions of views.
Yeah.
And I come at it from a different way where the politicians were in Kensington yesterday and they said they were going to clean up Kensington Ave. So I was down there yesterday and I showed the cleanup. And then before I talked to you, I went down there for an hour and realized what they said is kind of bullshit. It's all political theater. What's going on down there? All these tents, just that one. They made all the tents go away, and now they have barricades in front of these businesses, so you can't sit there and shoot up. But if you go down the street, you can sit somewhere and shoot up. The other day, yesterday, when I was down there, the people are no longer on Kensington Ave. They're 2 blocks away on Clementine Street, which is where I went to school. And now people are shooting up next to a school. So we chased them away, and now they're close to a fucking school. I saw a city council person, and I screamed at him. I said, what the fuck are you guys doing? You can't let's have like 4 cops on the corner of the schools and just shoo them away. Just shoo them the fuck away. Tell them to go somewhere else. Anywhere else but the schools. And then we got to figure a way to get them the fuck out of here. But it really seems like the not only the politician, but the media, not all the media, but some of the media in Philadelphia want to help the drug addicts get better, or more worried about the drug addicts than the actual people who live in that neighborhood. Like the fucking kids. These kids live in Kensington, these 6-year-old kids who walk to school every day. They see people shooting up. They see people dying every fucking day. These kids are going to be such a nightmare in the future because nobody showed any human being respect their whole childhood.
Wow.
So why would they respect us? It's going to be a nightmare in a decade. I once saw a lady overdose on drugs. And I made a video I had a video of her dying and they brought her back with Narcan. And the most shocking thing in that video that I filmed wasn't that the lady died and did Narcan and then 20 minutes later was doing drugs again, because when you do Narcan, you get sober. The most shocking thing I saw was there was 3 kids walking past the dead body. They didn't even look at it. It didn't even startle them. It was just fucking Wednesday. And they just kept on going. And that's when I was like, holy shit, these kids are nothing. I know if I saw a dead body on the street at 6th grade, it would be the only story I would talk about for the rest of my life. And
was there anybody around them freaking out about the dead body, or were people just acting like it was nothing?
There was an ambulance working on the body. There was a scene. You could see it.
All right.
But they're so used to seeing that bullshit that that it doesn't bother them. And that fucking scares me. Like if you're so, like, I don't know what the word is, but like you're
just desensitized to it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. It's like they're desensitized to it. And it's
so this is your video here. You're showing where all the tents used to be.
That's where the tents used to be. Yeah.
They're all cleared out now. Yeah. And why did they clear it out? Just for fun?
I really do think they're trying to bring back the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And the way they're doing it is it's going to be 2 blocks at a time. And then, let's say the neighborhood has 75 blocks. So 2 blocks at a time, they're going to set up barriers, no tents. But you could buy drugs. I saw people selling drugs today. You could shoot up in front of cops. I saw that today. So what it looks like to me, and I'm just a guy who goes to baseball games, they're opening up that street for no camping, but they want to get business back in the neighborhood, but they want the drug addicts to go into the neighborhood and not on the streets with the businesses, because business is more important than residents. It seems to me. I'm just a guy.
Well, yeah, a business is not going to come open up if there's tents out, but like, sure, if a person on drugs wants to buy something from your business, who can stop them?
Right. They have a lot of corner stores in Kensington that they just closed down. There was a lot of, I think, there's a lot of drug dealing going out of the corner stores. There was a lot of illegal gambling going on. So they're starting to close down some things. They're also closing down businesses that some people would consider to be enablers. That people that offer showers to the people, places that clean infected wombs. Which the city's trying to shut down these places, which they're good and bad because
Really?
because they don't want anybody they don't want it to make it easy on you down there. They don't want you getting your they want you to fucking get away and leave. So there's this one place that they offered a shower. You can get your wombs clean. They also
Oh, like a mobile shower
no,
unit.
but
I've
this
seen
this place
those.
was a storefront. This was a
Oh,
storefront on
wow.
Kensington Ave, but they also give out like they did needle exchanges, which some people say enables a little bit. They also gave out like free crack pipes because they say like if you don't have a clean crack pipe, there's another way to get like diseases. And some people are like, all right,
Similar to
that's a
New
bit
York
much.
and the safe like shoot up sites.
Well, we don't have that. We don't have that in Philly. You can shoot anywhere you want, and the cop won't arrest you. Right here, I'm coming up. There's a city council person in the suit right there, and if you look, I go up to him. There's a hypodermic needle right there, and
Right there.
there goes the politician. He's fucking laughing, having a good time. Meanwhile, I just told them there's 40 people shooting up drugs right next to the school, and you're fucking laughing and giving people high fives.
Good for
The
you for saying that.
politicians, I once got into a fight with the former mayor of Philadelphia. I didn't get into a fight. I screamed at him. I was like, yo, we had this shooting on the street, and they closed down this street. It's called South Street. And they closed it down for months. They just closed it down, no traffic. And I said, yo, why don't you just fucking close down Kensington Avenue? If you could shut down South Street, shut down Kensington Avenue. And he just fucking walked off. That's all the people doing drugs next to the school. And
Wow.
yeah, and that's where I went to grade school. I went to fifth to eighth grade there. So that's the thing. Like when I go to this neighborhood and I make these videos, I know what it used to be like. There's a black fence around that school. That fence wasn't there 2 years ago. They had to put that fence up because people are shitting and pissing on the school. People will shoot up, pass out on the steps, and the kids have to go to another building to go to the school. There's 2 buildings. So when they have to go to art class, they have to go to that other building. They have to walk over people passed out on the streets.
Oh, wow.
So,
Oh my God.
so yeah, it's a crazy thing. What's happening down there? I think they let it go too out of hand. The last mayor didn't do a fucking thing down there. I don't know why he didn't do anything down there, but he just let it go. And that's one of the conspiracy theories is that they're letting the neighborhood go to shit because then they could
They can drive the property value down.
No,
Yeah.
well, here's the thing: the property value is crazy in Kensington. Row homes go for $400,000. One of the things I
Wow.
do in my videos when I scoot around and and if I see a house for sale, I'll say the address, and people in my comments tell you the price of the houses, and it's never under $200,000 for a row home, a few years ago, a decade, they were going for $8,000. So something
Wow.
must be happening.
Yeah, I think they were trying to maybe expand. What's the nearby college there? I saw a video. They were looking
Temple University.
Yeah, they're looking to expand the borders of Temple and maybe add more student housing. And that's probably I heard that's part of why they want to.
Like, it's kind of far from there. I think the sad state of the world is there's just money in real estate. That's like the only investment that's almost guaranteed. Like you can have a fire, but insurance covers it. But I've never seen property values go down in Philadelphia. They only go up. And I do hear like the Temple University is buying up. There's a documentary. I think it's by Channel 5 on YouTube. He did this great documentary explaining how the college is just buying up properties and buying up properties. And Temple University has a history of being scumbags to the residents of the city. There was once a cemetery where there was a parking lot now. They dug up 20,000 bodies and they put them in.
What?
This is like in the 40s. They dug up all these bodies and just threw them in a mass grave, and like I think there was 20,000 people who got moved, and only 3,000 of 17,000 people didn't get notified. So people would go to the cemetery and find that there's a fucking parking lot, and meanwhile there's a mass grave. And so Temple's been fucking over this city for years. They're just about making money.
Wow. I mean, at least in a sense, like you go to visit grandpa at the cemetery, it's like, well, you can visit grandma, you can visit your whole family. They're all in the same plot.
Right.
It's very sad.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you go to graves? Do you visit graves?
Everyone in my family gets cremated.
Yeah. Isn't that a burden though? Because my girlfriend, right? I got half her fucking dead relatives in my dining room sitting on the shelf.
Like, what are you gonna do with it?
So what do we do like 3 generations from now? Who gives a fuck about Uncle Jim?
True.
Right.
But that's why I think it's nice to get it maybe made into something. Like, yeah, you're not gonna keep a little urn of ashes. Like, toss them in a meaningful area or get them, I don't know, baked into a photo frame or something like that. I've seen people like put it into jewelry.
Records. You can make it into a vinyl record.
Yeah.
I've seen that. That's actually pretty cool. But knowing my kids, they wouldn't take care of the record. They're all scratched up and they'll throw it the fuck out anyway. So
I think it's nice. Yeah, if you're thinking of somebody, go to a place where they like to go or do something they like to do. That's a nice way to remember them instead of like visiting a cemetery. Okay, that's like that could be anybody. It's like, all right. And it's not really like a fun vibe.
Yeah, I don't want to go to a mass grave and go, Grandpa is somewhere here. I would like to know exactly where my grandfather is decomposing. I would like to be at that space. You know, it's
physical. It's just the physical bones. I mean, like the spirit lives on, and it's like if you believe the spirit's always watching you or that's always with you, then it's like you don't need to go to a specific physical place. But if you need that for your own grieving, like I think it's better to just
it's crazy. Whenever I have somebody dying or I have somebody die in my family, whenever I have sex right after they die, I often wonder if grandmom's watching.
I've thought of that. Yeah. Like, can they see this?
Yeah. And because like I do some deviant shit and I don't want them to see that stuff. Grandma doesn't. Like,
I thought about that the other day. I'm like, can my dad see me breastfeeding right now? Like, is that weird?
Well, that's fine. That's a good thing. But you know, I don't want to say so. I almost said something crazy. But yeah, I don't want my grandmom seeing me do certain things, you know. But breastfeeding's not bad. Dad would be like, "Oh, how about that?"
I don't know. I worked pretty hard my whole life for my dad to not see my boobs. You know, like you don't really want your dad seeing your boobs.
There shouldn't be a struggle.
I mean, like, right. It's not that it was a struggle, but like, you know, you're not getting dressed willy-nilly in a room with an open door.
Right.
I don't know, things like that.
Me and my girlfriend, we've been together for a decade, and my ex-wife and I, we were bathroom people. Not me, more her. Like
people.
If I was going to the bathroom, she would like if I was going big boy potty, as I say. If I was going she would come in the room and like talk to me, and I'd be like, "Get the fuck out of the room!"
My family, same thing. Like I didn't even know this wasn't normal until I met my husband's family, and until we moved in together. Like I shared a room with my sister growing up, so no privacy. We couldn't even shut the door. If we locked the door, one of my parents would think like something's up, and they would try to like break it down or something. My dad, or like you could never have a shut door in the house. And if I was showering, I couldn't lock the door because what if somebody else needed it? I had to like. We all had to keep the door unlocked. So I would have to set up a system of towels slung over the shower so that like people couldn't see me. Like I'm in there obviously naked showering. I'd always have to have many towels slung over the shower so that like people couldn't see me. But you had to keep the door unlocked. What if someone has to use the bathroom? And you're always showering on edge. You're like, you're trying to go as fast as you can. That's why when I say I worked so hard for my dad not to see my, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
You're trying to have nobody in your family see you naked.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it depends on how you're raised. Yeah. My parents were pretty prudish, and then my ex-wife was walking in on me, and then in this not this new relationship, but then the relationship I'm in now, we have a rule. Listen, I don't even want to see it. I don't want to talk to you. You do your thing. I'm never going to be part of it. I like it like that. I think I don't. Yeah, it's much better not seeing your significant other shit. I think that should be a Valentine's Day card.
I think if you could try to do anything, do your best to not shit or fart in front of your significant other. Like if you do one thing, you know what I mean? Like, come on, let some things be sacred. Let some things be for just you.
She never farts in front of me. I try my damnedest, but sometimes I drink nothing but seltzer water. So sometimes I'm a gassy little fella. But I only fart when she's asleep. Sometimes I wake her up.
Yeah, if you could not hear the sound of it, if you have to do it, if you have to let out a silent one in the middle of the night and everyone's asleep, sure.
Like sometimes you test it to see if it's a silent one, and then you find out it's not. So then you try to excuse yourself, but you try to go downstairs to, but then you already let it out. So now you're walking and it's starting to come out, and then you're embarrassed, and then you run out of the room of
embarrassment. You have to quickly run away and hope like you take it with you, but you don't.
It does. And as a matter of fact, it doesn't leave, it stays. So now it stinks and you're going out of the room.
You've crop dusted everyone. I never thought we would get to these topics. I had Bryce Harper written down. I had there are a lot of fun players. What I enjoy the most about baseball is following players that have like a real temper, that like just get thrown out of games. I love bloopers. I love not that I love watching people get hurt, but if there's like an insane injury or like a freak accident, I like watching that.
You know what's good? There's a YouTube channel called John Boy Media.
He
does
great.
The lip reading.
He's
he
a
does
great
the lip
reader.
reading. Yeah, he's so good. He's
MLB
so good.
picked him up. He's mainstream now.
MLB picked up John Boy?
Don't they have host his show? I'm pretty sure he does something for MLB now.
I'm so proud of him. Yeah, if you're a YouTuber and you're hearing that the guy got signed by holy shit, that's amazing. I met him once, but I don't really know him. But that's holy shit.
He's
that guy
was
just
good.
He was just making YouTube videos about lip readings and Yankees, and now he's I'm
pretty sure he has something on the Yes Network. Frank.
Talking Yanks. Yeah. He's a good dude, but he's so funny. And there's also another YouTube channel called Baseball Doesn't Exist. He makes like 20-minute documentaries, and my girlfriend who knows nothing about baseball loves
Yes
his
Network.
Documentaries.
Here we go.
Okay.
Not MLB. Yes Network.
Yes Network.
Excuse me.
That's working for the Yankees. That's a step away from MLB.
It's a big deal.
It's a really big deal.
I enjoyed very much Brett Gardner's anger. I really loved how he would get into the dugout. He'd take a bat and just cram it on the roof of the dugout and just not hit people with it. But I don't know why I like watching people be angry. Maybe because I don't really get angry and lash out like that. It's fun to see other people do it. Bryce Harper,
he gets mad. Yeah.
He gets
whenever I hate when I see him throw temper tantrums, because whenever Bryce Harper throws a temper tantrum, the Phillies usually lose because he gets in his head. And I hate whenever they argue with an umpire, I would say they lose 95% of the games.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But yeah, Bryce Harper's a hothead, which is cool. I kind of like that because it means something to him. It means he actually cares. If you're going to get upset about playing a child's game, he really wants to win a championship. So I love that he's on the Phillies. He's the fucking best.
Yeah, because if not, he's got to go back and finish high school. He doesn't want to do that.
Nah, I don't think he even needs to do that. I think he's okay. Although people say he's very underpaid. He makes I think $25-30 million a year.
Oh wow.
But now that guy Ohtani, who's on the Dodgers, he's making $70 million, and he's just batting this year. He's not even pitching; he's just batting. So
subtract whatever his translator stole from him, so it's even less than that.
Oh, I wonder. I don't know if that story's true.
You think it's him? You think he gambled the money away?
Yeah, I kind of do. I don't know much, but I know what I got going on my checking account. And if $100 goes missing, I'm very aware. If millions of dollars go missing, I don't know. Doesn't the bank call you? I just feel like
Right. How
something.
much money do you have to not notice $10+ million to be gone?
Right. So I don't know. He doesn't seem like Ohtani does much for fun. He doesn't drink. I don't know if
No,
he goes.
Asians are very serious. They love gambling, though.
So maybe he did it, and I also kind of, when I sit in my seats at Citizens Bank Park, I do notice they have the ESPN bet advertising and all the gambling sites all around,
Mhm.
like baseball gambling's everywhere. Um,
Todd
and I,
agrees with you, John. He thinks it was Ohtani.
yeah, thank you, Todd. Todd sounds like a smart guy. Yeah, I sort of think something's there, but the thing is, they make a lot of money off that guy. I don't know. So many people own Ohtani jerseys, so I keep an eye on that. I see what else. I can't see them kicking him out of baseball like Pete Rose, but something interesting could happen.
He's just too good. Well, yeah, I wonder if the
Oh,
truth
Pete
will ever...
Rose was amazing. It's just that he did it at the end of his career.
Okay.
Ohtani's at the beginning. And Pete Rose, even though he was a Philly, he wasn't the best guy in the world. A lot of people didn't like Pete Rose.
Okay.
Yeah, so he could rub people the wrong way. Ohtani, he doesn't speak the language, so nobody talks to him. So he has the
Be very
interpreter.
Ronry.
When he leaves the stadium, I was at the Philly stadium last year when he was with the Angels. When he left the stadium, he was the first member of the Angels to go on the bus, and he got on the bus 25 minutes before another player did. And I was like, God damn, that must be very lonely to have him and just the interpreter be the only people you talk to. It must be kind of sad, but that's the life he chose.
It's very Ronry. Well, I also want to talk about a story which I didn't know that you had a direct influence in, and that is the Trey Turner story. So Trey Turner, was he at the Washington Nationals? Where did he start out?
Yeah, he started with the Nationals, then he went to the Dodgers, and now he's a Philly.
He signed a massive deal with the Phillies leading into the 2023 season. Like, what was it? Maybe was it 11 years, $300 million, something like that. Something.
Yeah, he got a very good contract. Yeah, I think 13 years.
Oh gosh, yeah, just insane. He had hitting problems. He had. I always like to be like, if someone starts doing bad, I like saying like, is it the yips? Do they have the yips? Because I think it's just fun to say. But he just underperformed a lot. The fans were booing him relentlessly, and then I thought a local radio station organized this, but it turns out you were directly responsible for this. You want to explain what you did for him?
Yeah, that fucking radio station. All right, so there's a story. There's Trey Turner was playing like shit. It's pretty much how it comes down to. And I am in part of a group chat with all my friends I watch baseball with, and my one friend Todd was like, "Yo, we're gonna boo the fuck out of Trey Turner when he gets back to the stadium." And I said, I was at a minor league stadium watching a game in Delaware. And when I saw that text message, I said, fuck Todd. And I put a video up on Instagram. And I have, I had like maybe a few thousand followers. And I'm friendly with the people who run Barstool Sports in Philadelphia. And they hit me up and they said, "Yo, we love this idea. We're going to share your video." And they shared my video and it went all over the place. Meanwhile, there's this radio guy who had a tweet. He puts out this tweet 2 hours before my post saying, "Hey, let's give Trey Turner a standing ovation." 2,000 people saw his tweet. I said in my video, "Let's give Trey Turner a standing ovation all weekend." And I think over a few million people saw my thing. But this guy who's the radio host has a bigger microphone in the city. So he got credit for the standing ovation. And I'm not saying like I was the inventor of the standing ovation. I think my influence was a little bit bigger than that radio host, but because he has a more powerful microphone, he had more people give
Yeah.
him credit.
The bigger platform.
And it didn't bother me until a radio show host on that radio station pretty much called me a liar. So then I was like, fuck,
Really?
yeah. I was like, fuck that radio station. I won't talk about them. I won't say the name. I won't ever say the names of the radio host. But I got a lot of hate because there was an article written by this newspaper called Crossing Broad. And they said, well, Jack Fritz had the idea first. I just said his fucking name. The radio host had the idea first. And then the captain had a thing. But the ideas were two different things. He said, let's do a standing ovation. And I said, let's do the standing ovation all weekend. And what happened was Trey Turner got the standing ovation all weekend. During the World Series. So we gave him the standing ovation, and he turns it around, and it worked. It worked. The Phillies went far into the playoffs. It did pretty good. Trey Turner also worked on himself. He was in the batting cages. He was doing the things he needed to do to get better. So Trey Turner played a part in it. I say like the Trey Turner ovation thing was kind of like a fire. And I was one of the bigger logs that set that fire. You need Trey Turner to do good. You need all the fans to stand up. I need the jerk off radio host to do a tweet for 2,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a lot of people to build that fire. And there's going to be a movie coming out about it. We just got done filming it. There's going to be a movie coming out about it in a few months. It just got done filming. So if it wasn't for that movie, I probably would have lost my mind because so many people were calling me a liar about the standing ovation.
That's horrible.
It drove me nuts because it was just something nice. It was just something nice I wanted to do because I didn't want the guy that Trey Turner's playing for the Phillies for 13 years. And it's his first year. And I was like, I don't want the guy to come here and get booed and play like shit for the rest of the year. I want to go to the playoffs with my friends. I like going to the baseball stadium and hanging out with my friends. So let's just be nice. Let's just try something instead of booing. Let's because if we do good that series, if we did good, we could possibly still make the playoffs. They weren't playing that great. And I think that little positivity did a good thing. And now other teams are doing it. The Mets just did it. The Marlins just did it. They're giving standing ovations to shitty players.
Wow.
So I'm somewhat responsible for starting a new sympathetic wave for shitty baseball players. I'm very proud of it.
Goes to show you like the power of, I guess, intention or energy or having that fan support behind you. I mean,
just
he went
positive.
he went from really, really sucking it to crushing it. He did great. What his batting average went up to 300s or something. Like it was vast improvement.
He was batting in the low 200s, and after the ovation, he was batting like 364, something crazy. More home runs, stolen bases, everything. He did fantastic after the ovation. And he was doing good this year too. He just got hurt for 6 weeks.
Probably because he's a smooth slider. I saw a compilation of him just like sliding into bases and then just like sauntering off. It's because he's
his smoothest slide was against the Phillies. And when he was on the Dodgers, he did this real cool slide, and he stood up, and I was like, "Motherfucker, I fucking hate this guy."
He looks like he's on a slip and slide. It doesn't even look like he's sliding on
it's
ground.
No big thing. It just looked like, it's really cool how he does that. It's
amazing. And then out of his own pocket, he rented a bunch of billboards saying "Thank you, Philadelphia." Like he was so appreciative of the fan support.
Yeah. And I've gotten I talked to him, and he's very nice. He's a very
really
nice guy.
How'd you talk to him?
I can't. I don't think I was supposed to say that. It's in the movie. But he's very nice. He's a very nice guy. I talked to him last week. I saw him at the stadium. We dabbed it up for a second. He's very nice. And you know, the cool thing is Philadelphia sports fans. We have a bad reputation. We're never going to get rid of our asshole reputation we have as fans.
Aww.
And I love that. But sometimes people, I'll see like, oh, maybe Philly fans are changing the way they are. And I can guarantee you, we're not. We're fucking jerk-offs, and nothing's going to change. But to our own, we could be nice. And I think it was nice to be nice at that one time. But I'm never going to do that shit again. Next time I'm booing them.
No more standing ovations.
Oh,
They
I
must
can't
be
do that. I
steal your
can't. Look,
credit.
I did a standing ovation, and they made a movie about it. I can't top that, right? I can't top that. There's nothing that's going to be better than that. So,
Oh.
I just you don't fuck around and not. Nobody likes sequels, or some sequels, but most sequels suck. So I'm never going to do that.
Thank you, Ron Coleman, for becoming a new member. What's up, Ron? Edward in the chat. The captain rules. FTM donkey steaks are the best.
Donkey steaks are very, very good. I wouldn't say they're cheesesteaks. There's a cheesesteak spot in New Jersey, and it's called Donkeys in Camden. And they put it on a round Kaiser roll. And Anthony Bourdain loved donkeys. He said it was one of the best. And it kind of tastes like a French onion soup sandwich because you got these wet onions and this great cheese, and it's in Camden, and they have beer on tap. And it's just a cool little spot. I highly recommend that spot.
That sounds.
But I don't say it's not a cheesesteak though, because it's not on a long roll.
Our favorite is Jim's, and you
don't
like Jim's?
It's not that. It's not. It shouldn't be your favorite. It shouldn't be your favorite. You can get a Jim Steaks at any cheesesteak, any pizza shop in Philadelphia. Kind of makes a Jim Steaks. It's a soft roll. It's not. There's nothing really special except the location at Jim's.
Okay.
It just reopened. There's a great cheesesteak spot called John's Roast Pork in South Philadelphia.
I've heard of that.
They're only open Monday through. I know they're closed on Mondays because he don't want to fucking work. The guy just makes cheesesteaks because he loves it. He won a James Beard Award, so I think he's open Tuesdays to Saturdays, 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. and that's it. And sometimes he sells out of rolls. He'll shut down early.
Oh wow!
John's Roast Pork is good. Angelo's is good. You know, they're you got to go to John's Roast Pork.
So it sounds like Jim's is a lesser steak because we thought, we tried. We thought, oh, we're past Pat's and Geno's now.
Yeah.
We're venturing out.
Yeah. No, it's better than Geno's and Pat's because they're shit. But Jim's.
I've met Gino. He's a nice guy. He loves meeting any kind of celebrity, any kind of person with any fame or.
Yeah, you go up and you see all the pictures of the celebrities and stuff. But the food's shit. It's garbage. If anybody ever orders a cheesesteak in Philadelphia, just know don't ever order Cheese Whiz. They changed the formula to Cheese Whiz a few years ago, so it doesn't complement steak the way.
I thought the Whiz was the default. That was like the
American cheese fried onion. That's the way to go.
Oh shit!
Yeah. And then if you're looking for a good hoagie shop, there's a place called Richie's on 11th. They make this old-fashioned Italian hoagie. You eat one of them, you ain't got to eat for the next 2-3 days. They're so big, and it's fresh. Everything's cut fresh. So good.
Wow.
You ever come to Philly, let me know. I'll tell you guys where to go.
Okay. Yeah, we do frequent Philly. We are there from time to time. Magnum Norse, thanks for the super chat. Love you, Chrissy. How's the demon baby? This guy looks like he eats bears in the woods. I think that's a compliment. The baby is great.
It's fucking manly, right? That's like a manly thing, not eating bears in woods. I'll tell you what, that demon baby put off this podcast for 25 minutes.
Yeah.
The
baby was sleeping soundly and then somehow knew I had something to do and we suddenly became starving.
How old's the baby?
He's a month old. Really, tomorrow. He's a month.
He does nothing but sleep, shit, and eat, right? That's
it, really.
I'll tell you, one of the best things I ever heard advice-wise is when you have a baby, take a picture of the baby every day because their faces change. And you could do like a 365 slide of the year, and you can just see how the little critter changes all throughout. It's a really neat little slideshow to do.
That's a great idea.
It's
I
a
like
lot
that you called him a critter. I do. I think I call him like the little milk muncher. He's just like and he's like, he makes all these little grunty noises. It's so cute.
Yeah, it's gas.
Yeah, very gassy.
You live in New York. Do you have like an apartment or is it a house or?
Yeah, we're in a house.
Okay, so like the baby has his own room, or are you doing the baby in the room?
Well, they have the baby in your room actually the first 6 months to 12 months, they say. So he's in a little like bassinet next to to bed. And anytime I always thought I'd have to set my alarm so I could wake up and feed him. But the second I hear a little like, I'm like,
Yeah.
it takes nothing for me to wake up now.
You're like a guard dog. A little noise gets you going.
Yeah,
And,
I'm
it's
like
crazy.
a dog now.
When you go to sleep at night, I remember when I had my first kid and I went to sleep at night, I could hear the fucking cry, and the baby wasn't even crying, but all you hear is the crying, and it's a lot of work being a parent, and the first 2 years are beautiful. They're beautiful, and they're a lot of fun. And
then what happens?
They learn how to run away, and then they learn the word no. And then they become teenagers, and then it goes to hell.
Well, what if we just never teach him no?
Yeah, well, see, it's impossible because they put their fingers in light sockets and they grab dogs' tails and you just go, no, and they just learn. They learn it because they hear it so much.
Oh, from the chat. Thank you, the chat. Chrissy, no context. Just dropping in hard to let you know how much I like you and your talent. Peace. Thank you, the chat. Dropping in hard. Appreciate it. Very cool. Wow. It's so crazy. Babies are nuts. And speaking of babies crying, my boobs started leaking today. This was a moment. Like he was crying, I was changing him, and I was like, what's wet? I was like, did he pee on himself again? Because a few times I'll be changing him and he'll pee up onto his outfit, onto his own belt. Like he'll just pee up and onto himself. And how horrible and shocking must that be? You're like, why am I covered in urine? And it's like, oh, it's mine. Oh, it's
he doesn't know anything now. He doesn't even want.
Yeah, I thought, like, what is it? Pee falling from the sky? What is this? And I thought that happened, and I'm like, oh no, like I'm just leaking now because it's like he cries. I guess my boobs have some sort of Bluetooth, and they hear it, and then they start.
Well, they sell titty tampons. You put them on your nipples, and if you lactate.
Tampons.
Yeah, titty tampons.
God, imagine you have to stick something inside your nipple. No, it's just like a little pad.
That'd be so painful. But yeah, they're like pads, titty pads, and you just wear them, and that way, because you're going to ruin every bra you have. You're going to ruin, everything's destroyed, and then you're going to like be burping the baby. Every shirt's going to have the
good luck ever looking cute again.
Never. You will never. Not until he, unless you get away for a few days. But as long as you're with that baby, you will have some form of liquid on you that did not come from you.
Just like my college days. Wow. It's worth it though. It's a labor of love. Oh my God. We covered everything I wanted to cover. This was so delightful, Philly Captain. I'm such a fan.
Thank you so much.
I can't wait for this movie to come out. I can't wait for your Zach Hample collab.
I don't know if the collab's going to happen now. If he sees this interview, I told
Zach,
him. I think I was pretty.
Zach, it's going to happen, or else me and John we're gonna show up at your family's bookstore and
and we're going to go into the break room and go. Yeah. Oh, you told us to come here.
We're gonna go to the area that's for employees only because you showed us where it is. That's what we're gonna do.
It's a big bookstore he has. He's
very big.
Yeah, he's doing all right.
He's doing just fine. John, tell the fine people where they can follow you. What is coming up for you?
Okay. You find me on the Philly Captain on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. They pay the most, so go to there. I don't care about Twitter or TikTok, but I'm on there too. I don't really pay attention to TikTok that much. I post stuff there, but it's a tool used by the Chinese government to spy on us.
You're not a 13-year-old girl.
No, but I make content that 13-year-old boys like. They like baseball content, and I gotta be honest. I got like 35,000 followers on there, and a lot of people who watch the TikToks come over to the YouTube. That's what you get. You spread yourself thin to get them. That's my theory. That's what I'm trying to do. I don't know if it's working, but I'm trying my damnedest.
You gotta just spread it everywhere. Spread your seed all over the internet.
Like Nick Cannon.
Exactly.
Spread your seed everywhere.
Everyone follow John on YouTube at the Philly Captain. Thank you guys in the chat for your comments and questions. This was just a blast, and I will talk to you soon. And we'll have to organize a New York day.
Let's go.
Yay! All right, we'll see you guys next time. Bye.